Most skeptics mock the Bible and seem to be completely oblivious to the fact that if they mock the Bible, they also have to mock ancient historical sources that have been found. An example of such a case is the Sumerian Kings List. There are as many as 15 ancient sources for what is called the Sumerian Kings List. They're written in the Old Babylonian language and they date back to the 18th century BC. That's 38 centuries ago. This Sumerian Kings List is found best preserved on a prism called the Weld-Blundell prism. And this prism sort of looks like the pylon in the corners of the end zone of a football field. And we're talking about Canadian and American football fields with end zones, by the way. And if you don't know what that is, think of a block of Velveeta cheese that's standing up on its end. That's what it kind of looks like. And the Weld-Blundell prism was discovered in 1922 and is now housed in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, England. But it was found during an expedition to the ancient city of Larsa in modern-day southern Iraq. And the man who led the expedition and funded the whole thing was Herbert Weld-Blundell, so it's fitting that it was named after him. And as a side note, it's not clear whether this was actually found during an excavation or acquired by a local artifact dealer there in Iraq, but its authenticity is confirmed without question and has become known as one of the greatest archaeological finds of the 20th century. It's the most complete list of Sumerian kings among the 15 or so that have been discovered. You can go do a search online and see pictures of this prism for yourself, and you can see all four sides and how complete the lists are, with only about 10% of the names or less missing. And by ancient standards, something 38 centuries old, that's an amazing amount of preservation. Only the Bible itself beats that sort of level of preservation. So why is this list of Sumerian kings so important? Well, the Sumerian civilization is recognized as one of the earliest in human history, and this list not only gives the names of the kings and their capital cities, but it lists the amount of time each of these kings ruled. It wasn't listed in years, but by some obscure Sumerian unit of measurement, by the way. But scholars have come to the conclusion that the first 10 kings on the list ruled for centuries. And the 10th king on the list is recorded to have been the king who survived the flood. Ironically, in Genesis 5, Noah is the 10th name in that genealogy, and as I hope you're aware, he is the one who survived the flood. And just as we read in the Bible in Genesis 11, the lifespan and time in which these kings ruled shrank dramatically after the flood. It's a case of history imitating the Bible. Why? Because historical accounts, even with any corruptions or embellishments or errors, still has at its core a confirmation of the biblical account. As author Paul D. Weaver said in his book titled Faith Affirming Findings, quote, "Skeptics of the Bible often point to the long lifespans recorded in Genesis 5 and 11 as evidence of historical inaccuracies and embellishments, or worse yet, intended deception. But the discovery of multiple copies of the Sumerian king lists gives credence to the biblical record," end quote. While skeptics have accused the Bible of embellishment, inaccuracies, and exaggeration in Genesis 5 and 11, the fact is that historical materials discovered by archaeologists actually confirm the accuracy of our Bibles. And in the case of the Sumerian Kings List, we see longevity of life before a global flood, and then shortened life spans after the globally destructive flood. Regardless of how accurate the details of the Sumerian king lists are, it shows us that outside of the Bible itself, human history contains the memory of a world and of its history that matches the basic information found in our Bible. And evidence for God's book is evidence for the author. Amen.